Okay, welcome everybody to part 3 of the 3-part video training series. I cannot believe how quickly we've already moved through part 1 and part 2. Now, if you watched part 2, then I ended that by actually saying that I was going to cover steps 4 and steps 5 in this video. Now, step 4 is fear and step 5 is focus. However, I felt that I was doing you an injustice by skipping over such an important step, which is step 3, finances. So I've changed my mind, and I hope you don't mind, because I'm going to make sure that you get absolutely tremendous value out of the next 30 minutes of this training video. And I'm going to run through with you some exercises which are really going to help you to keep track of what you're spending every month and what's coming in. And it's also going to help you pick a number which is going to be your very first target in terms of your escaping of the rat race. Because so many of my members say to me that it's the finances that are holding them back from escaping the rat race. And then I ask them some basic questions about numbers, well, how much do you need to survive every month? And, well, what's the first number that you need to get to in terms of your passive income? And quite often they just pick a number out of the air. So in this exercise today, we're actually going to put some real tangible numbers in here, which are going to be very personal to you. We're already on part 3 of the 3-part video training series, which is part of the 5-step freedom formula, where I'm sharing with you all of the key components that put together the 5 steps. These are the same 5 steps that have allowed me to escape the rat race, that have allowed me to go and live in Lisbon this summer and work remotely. And these are the same 5 steps which I know, if you follow in order, can help you to get out of the rat race so much quicker than just by guesswork, which perhaps is one of the reasons why you feel that you haven't seen the results come as quickly as you would have liked them to. So let me just recap on the first part of the video series, part 1 and then part 2. And then we're going to move straight into today, which is going to be focused on step 3, which is finances. So if you haven't watched part 1, definitely go back and watch that video now, because in part 1 we looked at the first step of the 5-step freedom formula, which is foundation. So step 1, foundation, is all about you getting clear on what your vision is, you getting clear on who you are, you getting clear on why it's so important for you to escape the rat race. So part 1, the foundation, is about getting clear on the 5 entrepreneurial freedoms. And those 5 freedoms are financial freedom, time freedom, location freedom, freedom of relationship, and the freedom of choice. Now, you may be searching for all 5 of those, or maybe just one in particular. And I know that so many of my members of Escape the Rat Race, you included, have said to me time and time again that the most important one for you is generally financial freedom. And if you think about it, if you can unlock financial freedom, then that unlocks time freedom, it unlocks relationship freedom, it gives you the ability to travel and work from wherever you like. So financial freedom is something that you're really searching for, and today's module is going to cover some really helpful steps so that you can start to put in some really good habits to enable you to then go on and focus on one asset class, the asset class that's going to be most suitable for you to go and build that long-lasting, strong business. In video 2, we covered flow. And I went through the wealth dynamics square in detail. So again, if you haven't seen video 2, I highly recommend that you pause this video and go and watch video 2 now, because the steps really do go in order. And I hope that you downloaded Wealth Dynamics Square, that you were able to follow along with me, and that you've taken the Genius test, and that you now know whether you are Dynamo Energy, Blaze Energy, Tempo Energy, or Steel Energy. And we can take that even a step deeper with the Wealth Dynamics test. And later on in the video series, I'm going to be sharing with you how you can take the Wealth Dynamics test for absolutely free. Okay, so on to today's video. Now, financial freedom, we've already touched on it there. But if we think about a triangle, okay, and if you think at the base of the triangle, this is financial security. And this is where I'd like to start you focus today. Financial security is really understanding how much money you need to survive on a monthly basis. So if you're renting, how much is your rent? If you have a mortgage, how much is your mortgage? How much are all your utility bills? How much do you spend on food and groceries every month? How much do you spend on travel every month? Are there other little things like subscriptions, maybe essentials like insurance or your mobile phone or internet? Think of all of the things that you really do need. Now, you could argue that you don't need internet to survive, but we do need internet really to function these days, don't we? So I'm talking about essential stuff. What I'm not talking about is just crisps and Coke and, going out for, nights out with your mates. That's not essential. You definitely do want to have a little bit saved for fun and for play, because there's no point just work. You need to enjoy life as well. But I'm talking about really understanding what your essential costs are. So maybe you're saying, okay, I'm just giving myself £50 or £100 a month to go out a couple of nights with my friends, maybe have one nice meal, a couple of nice meals, go to the cinema once a month, something like that, okay? So what I want you to do is think about that number, okay? Now, you may not know exactly what that number is at the moment, but that's okay, because later on in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you another exercise, and you can actually download the personal financial statement from beneath this video, and I'm going to walk you through how to complete that financial statement in a short while. So let's go back to our triangle now. And if you can see here at the bottom, we've got financial security. Then in the middle layer, we've got financial independence. So when we've got a clear understanding of how much money we need to be bringing in or generating per month in order to know that we are safe. So what I mean by that is we know we've got a roof over our heads, we know the bills being paid, so we can eat and we can survive, okay? So that security level is covered. Now that number may be £1,000, it may be £500, it may be £3,000. It will be different for everyone, but you need to know what that figure is for you. Step 2 is then financial independence. Now, financial independence is where you are not only generating enough money to just survive, but you've got enough money on top of that to start really doing the things that are important to you, the things that you really, enjoy out of life. So what I'm talking about here is having enough money to then be able to pay for the holidays that you'd like to take, to be able to buy the cars that you'd like to be driving around in. Not necessarily the Ferraris and the Lamborghinis at this stage, but a nice car that is a car that you really would like to have, and it may be £20,000. Maybe it's a Range Rover Sport, something like that, a bit more expensive, but whatever that is. So you're able to live a life where money's not really a problem. You know that you've got money coming in that can pay for the essentials, but can also pay for your children's tuition fees at school, holidays, and you're not really having to worry about anything. Sure, if you had more money you could do some really amazing stuff, but hey, you're pretty comfortable, and to be honest, you're probably in the top 5 to 10% in the world's population. So that's what we talk about with financial independence, okay? Now, I often talk about your escape the rat race day. And for those members that have worked with me personally, and for those members that have already participated in the 5-Step Freedom Formula program, you will know that your escape the rat race day is essentially the number or the figure that you need to have coming in every month that would allow you to say, okay, I don't need to actually go and work for somebody else anymore. I have now got enough passive income or asset income coming in every month consistently that I know comfortably that I can give up my job and I don't have to rely on a salary or a wage any longer. So that's your escape the rat race day. What's that escape the rat race number? Okay, so that might sit somewhere between your security level and your independence level. All right. Now on top, if you look at the triangle here, that's where financial freedom comes. Now, when we talk about financial freedom, it really means that you have money to do whatever you like. So this is really where you start to look at legacy, where you really start to think about your true purpose, because you're now having a bigger impact on the world. You're now thinking, okay, I've got everything that I want. Now, how can I actually go out and help other people and really make a dent in this world? Okay, so we talk about financial freedom often. The term is thrown around frivolously, and it's definitely an aspiration that so many of us, are looking to achieve. But I think we need to be really clear here that there is a step-by-step process to get to financial freedom, and it begins by understanding, okay, well, what's just our basic need every month? What do we need to bring in every month? And then on top of that, okay, what would be our financial independence level? And then we look at financial freedom. Okay, so let's look now at the first exercise, which is your personal financial statement. This is the process that I was shown by the Rich Dad Advisors back in 2013, and it's something that's really stuck with me since. It's such a great way of being able to track your finances. And also, if you've played Rich Dad's 101 cash flow game, then you will understand the importance of understanding how to read your personal financial statement, because you actually have to do that in the game. And this will help you to see what assets you've got, what liabilities you've got, and savings, and you go through payday. So that's why playing cash flow is a really, really good way to actually start learning the rules of money without having to put your real money on the table into deals. It will help you to think how you can start collaborating and doing joint venture partnerships with people, because you'll look at the return on a deal and you'll look at maybe how much interest you're getting and how much you need to borrow from the bank and what your rate of return is going to be. And this will help you to have the courage to actually just try it, because it's a game. But the lessons that you'll learn will be then ones that can start popping up in real life. So when the bigger deals come and when the real cash is on the table, then you know that you have some experience with dealing with those kind of thought processes and making those kind of decisions. So anyway, let's take a look now at the personal financial statement.
Okay, so here we are with the personal financial statement template here. So let me just click on screen, make sure that this is coming up okay, and just get all of my controls ready here. Okay, so we're now looking at the personal financial statement template, and you can download this. Just click the button beneath the video here and you'll be able to download this as an Excel spreadsheet. And then it's a good idea for you to take some time out to spend looking through this and actually entering in all of the details and the numbers that apply to yourself. I'm going to run through this for you really quickly now, just so you've got an idea of what you need to be inputting into the right areas. But this is an exercise where I would recommend you spend at least an hour or 2 hours and you actually go through your online banking at the same time. And if you haven't recently been through your online banking, I recommend that you do that. And this will especially help you to see any payments or subscriptions that maybe you have forgotten about and they're still coming out of your account maybe every month or maybe annually. And so if you look back at the last 3 months transactions, that will give you a good reflection of any recurring payments that maybe you could cancel, maybe that you don't require any longer, maybe that you thought had been cancelled but are still coming out. And also it will allow you to see some spending habits. And when we go through the spreadsheet in a second, I will show you how you're going to start categorizing your monthly spending, and this will be into categories such as travel and food and utilities and things like that. So let's have a look through this statement now. So if you are ever if you have ever played the cash flow game from Rich Dad Poor Dad, then you will be familiar with this kind of layout. What we have here is your income statement here at the top, your expenditure, which is this area here, and then at the bottom we have the balance sheet. So this is all of your assets and all of your liabilities. Okay, and this spreadsheet will automatically calculate as you input data. So it's going to start calculating what your net worth is, what your total assets and liabilities are. And in this area here, the analysis, it will automatically start working out actually how hard your money's working for you and what percentage of your total income you're paying in taxes and what your return on assets are, and most importantly, how wealthy you are. Now this figure you definitely want to see increasing every month, and this will actually give you a figure of how many months you could just carry on without having any more income coming in. Okay, so let's go through it now, and you begin here in the top left, and this is your earned income. So if you currently have a job and you're getting paid a salary every month, then this is where you would input that. So I'm just going to pick some numbers here. So let's just say that your salary is, let's say, £3,000. Now this is the gross amount, okay? So on your payslip, it will say your gross monthly salary, your income. Okay, so we want to put the gross number in there, and the taxes we're going to account for down here, so don't worry about that at the moment. Now if you have any other jobs, any other paid income, so where you're trading time for money, that's where you're going to input this in here. So maybe you've got another part-time job, and let's just say that gives you £500 gross per month. Maybe it's like a weekend, you know, part-time thing. Now if you do have any other income, you can add that in here. Now what I recommend is you actually overtype here and you actually put the name of the job. So you know, if it's like you know, you work for Siemens or something like that, then you would put, you know, Siemens salary in here, and other jobs here, just so you can identify it easier. Okay, so next we are going to move into the column here which says passive income. Okay, so perhaps you have got some rental properties, or you have a business at the moment. Perhaps you're selling some products online, maybe you're utilizing Amazon or eBay, and this is where we're going to put in your passive income. Now this is asset income, so let's just say that you have a buy-to-let property and you receive £1,500 a month rent from your tenant. Now you are going to have expenses that come out of that, so you're going to have probably a mortgage to pay, you're going to have maybe cover the utility bills, you've got insurance and stuff. So in here we're looking for the net figure. Okay, so if you know that that rental property gives you £500 net profit a month, that's the figure that you're going to put in there. Okay, if you've got 2 or 3 properties, then work out what the total net profit is each month and put that in here. Similar with a business. If you have a business and maybe you're selling, let's say you sell 50 products online every month, and you know that the net profit from that is, let's say, another £500. So you've now got a passive income total coming in of £1,000. So that's outside of your salary, your day job. All right. And then the third area here in your income statement is portfolio income. So if you have got any stocks or shares and you receive interest, you receive maybe annual dividends, if you've written any books or music and you receive royalty payments, then maybe you just get an annual payment. So work out roughly what that would be per month, okay? And just put a number in here. So let's say that you get royalties and you get a royalty check maybe twice a year, and it's £200 each check, so it's a total of £400 a year. So it's going to be like £33 roughly. Okay, so so here we can see we've got a total income of 4,533 per month. Okay, now let's move down to the expenses now. So when you've put all of the money coming in, think about everything that comes in to you. You want to make sure that you've got that documented in this income statement. Now we move down to the expenses, okay? Now this, you can see I have adapted from the original personal financial statement, and I've actually created it so that you can input your weekly expenditure, okay? And we've got 5 weeks, so we can cover, you know, any month in the year. And what this is going to do is actually automatically calculate how much you're spending in these different areas across a month. Okay, so it's really, really important here to actually spend some time here and actually go through your online banking, because a lot of things that maybe, you know, charges that come out, expenditure, maybe it just kind of happens automatically. You're not even aware of a lot of it. Certainly stuff like your income tax, your national insurance, that is taken off, you know, your pay before you even receive it. So you need to look at your pay slip and you need to see how much are you paying. So we calculated maybe £3,000 you're getting from your job. So have a look at your pay slip, and you may say, okay, well, £500 of that is income tax, okay, and then maybe national insurance is £200. All right, and maybe you have got a mortgage on your property, so maybe you rent instead. So how much is your rent? So let's say that you pay £600 a month in rent. House insurance. Now, this section here I've highlighted in this bright orange, okay, and this is always pay yourself first. So what I'd like you to get into the habit of is making sure that before you spend all your money every month, is that you're actually paying yourself first. So make sure that you are putting some money into maybe an ISA, so whether it's a stocks and shares ISA or it's a cash ISA, so you're just building up that emergency fund. So if you really say you lost your job and you needed to have some money to survive for the next 3 months, you had that cash reserve. Okay, so let's just say you put £100 into your cash ISA every month, and your financial freedom account, this is like your golden egg. So T. Harv Eker talks about having your golden goose, the golden eggs, where you put money in and you never ever take that money out again. Okay, but you maybe use it to invest in assets, but you're recycling that money just to grow your asset base. You're not spending it on what we call doodads, just things that are not going to grow in value. So maybe put £100 into that financial freedom account as well. And if you've got a pension, perhaps you've got money going into a pension. Let's just say £200 goes into a pension as well. Okay, so these are expenses. This is what is coming out of your pocket every month. And then all of these other categories here, now you can edit these. I've put in the ones that apply to myself, and just giving you some extra room here. All the kind of things that you need to think about. How much do you spend on internet each month, gym membership, travel to and from work, if you've got a car, what are the costs to keep that running every month? Do you spend some money on charity, clothing, restaurants, going out, all of these kind of things? Maybe you've got school fees to pay, credit card payments, maybe you pay the minimum £20 a month on a credit card and you've got a couple of cards. If you need to delete any of these categories and add in something that's applicable to you, that's absolutely fine. Okay, so I'm just going to add some really quick figures here, just so that you can start to see how all the numbers add up. Business expenses here, second one. So if you've got a business, maybe you've got costs. So, even if it's just an online business, maybe you need to pay for website hosting, maybe you need to pay for your virtual assistant, maybe there's some design costs, so maybe you've got £100 costs to run that business. Travel, maybe you spend £100 a month on train fares. Your car, maybe you spend £50 a month on petrol. And insurance as well, if you pay monthly, let's just say that's 100 as well. Gym membership, 50. Storage, maybe that's a cost that you might have. Internet, let's just say £20 a month for internet. Unexpected costs, so there are always things that come up each month which you didn't plan for. Maybe something breaks and you have to pay to get it repaired. So you can put whatever you like in here. Let's just say £50 just to cover that. Personal gifts to friends, birthdays, anniversaries, where you need some funds to allocate for that. Household costs, let's say £20. Health, this could be checkups, this could be vitamins, this could be massages. Let's say £50, and maybe zero for you, whatever, it doesn't matter. This is all personal, whatever these figures are for you. Groceries, now again, this is where looking at your your online banking statement could be really useful, because if you pay by debit card, you'll see the transactions over a month, and if you look at your last 3 months, you can start to get an average value of how much you spend in certain areas. So petrol, how much do you normally spend? Supermarket, how much do you normally spend? If there's anywhere that you tend to go on a regular basis, you'll start to get an idea of how much you spend on average each month. So let's say supermarket, you spend £100. Restaurants, entertainment, let's just say another £100 a month on going out. Clothing, maybe you don't buy so much, maybe £30. Charity, maybe you like to give £50 a month. Education, books, courses, mentors. So if you're paying for any kind of mentoring, if you're learning a new business strategy, maybe this is £250 a month, something like that. Cost of hobbies. Yeah, maybe you've got some hobbies that have some costs associated, so let's say £20. Bank costs, have you got a monthly fee? I know I have a £15 fee, so I would add that in. Haircut, you know, say £15 for that. Maybe you've got school fees. You may only pay these quarterly, maybe half a year. Work out on average what that is on a monthly basis. So let's say, I don't know, nursery fees are expensive. Let's say £500 a month. Credit card payment, so maybe you know that you've got to pay £25 on that card and maybe 15 on that card. Maybe you've got a loan and that's 60, and a car loan as well, maybe you pay 75 a month for that. Okay, so now you can see it's automatically added up the total expenses. So that's £3,505 expenses. And we saw that our total income is 4,533. So it's telling us that we've currently got a net monthly cash flow of 1,028. So this is really, really useful to do this, because if you don't currently keep a check on how much is coming in and how much is going out, then you might get a real sort of wake-up call when you actually take the time to go through this. And just by looking at all the money that comes out every month, even if you weren't aware of some of it, you can now start to gauge, okay, well, are there areas here where maybe I can cut back? Maybe I can save an extra £100 to £200 a month, even maybe more, by not spending so much on, you know, going out, or not spending so much on supermarket shopping, or actually cutting back, you know, how much I spend on clothing. Anything, you know, look at it. Maybe you can rearrange your credit cards. Maybe you can actually transfer over to a 0% card where you have reduced your costs for your credit card payments. There's so many things that you can do here to actually reduce your costs. Now, this is what you have calculated here as your monthly budget. Okay, so this is how much you are planning to spend per month in these different categories. Now, what I suggest to you, if you really want to take this seriously and you really do want to maximize your cash flow, is to go through this at the end of every week. Now, I used to actually do this on Friday nights. I've actually changed it now to Sundays, but whatever works for you. And look back at the previous week and actually say, okay, how much have I spent this week out of this total? So if you get paid like on the last day of the month, then you could say, okay, well, in week one, like, you know, I had my salary paid, you know, this week. So that £500 has gone on week one. But on week two, you know, there's going to be no more, because obviously that just comes out once a month. Now, same for national insurance. Now, your laundry, you may not, you know, may not spend anything on laundry in the first couple of weeks, but then that £10 might come out on week 3. Now, again, car costs, you said there's £100 a month on petrol. So maybe that first week is when your insurance payment comes out. Maybe that insurance payment is £50. And then you know, maybe week 2, you put £20 in petrol. Week 3, £10. You know, nothing there, and then £20 there. So you may go over as well. You know, maybe actually you find that you do more traveling that month, and so actually that month you spend 120 when actually you'd only budgeted for 100. But there may be another area like groceries where perhaps you were under. So you spent £20 the first week. Actually, maybe you were away somewhere for the following week, 30. You know, then you just did 40 and then nothing there. So, you know, you're £10 under. So you get the idea here. So you're actually really looking at it on a week by week basis. Now, there is a way to track your expenditure on a weekly, in fact, a daily basis. And that is by using a spending app on your phone. And you could just really do this simply. You could have just a notebook and just literally log every time you spend money. Some people prefer to do it like that, but there's a really good app and it's called Spending, and I will actually link to that underneath this video as well. So once you've gone through, and obviously you're going to have to go through your first month in order to get the data here and to actually see kind of how close you are to what you expected to spend and what you actually did spend. And this is where the fun comes, because after you've got a month's worth of data, then you can actually say, oh wow, okay, I'm totally overspending in certain areas, or actually I'm not spending as much as I thought I would in other areas, and then start to see where you can cut these costs. Okay, and if you want to increase your net monthly cash flow, which most people do, then this is by far the best way to begin by doing that. Okay, so let's quickly move down now to the assets. Now in here, this is basically all of your everything you own that is putting money into your pocket. Okay, something that is increasing in value every month. So your current account balance. Okay, so if at the end of the month you've got £200 in your bank account, then that's an asset. Obviously that's £200 cash that you have. Savings account, okay, maybe you've got £1,000, let's say £10,000 in your saving account. Maybe you've got a second savings account as well. Okay, so let's just say you've got 5,000 in there. Stocks and shares, you know, what's the total value at the end of the month of your stocks and shares? Maybe you've got 23,000. Pension, you know, maybe you've got 100,000 value in your pension. Maybe you've got a second pension. Okay, maybe you've got 60. Cash funds that are not in the bank, so maybe you have got cash reserve somewhere else, you know, let's say that you have. Precious metals, if you've got any investments in gold or silver, anything else, maybe you don't, so you leave that blank. Do you trade? Do you have a trading account? Maybe you've got £5,000 sat there in that account. If you've got bonds, put a figure in there. Okay, real estate, so we're looking at the sum of the equity. So if you've got 2 or 3 properties but you've got mortgages, so you know you don't own them outright, look at the equity. So that's actually, you know, if you were to sell them all tomorrow and you paid off the debts, what would you have left? So look here, we're looking at property, real estate, so the sum of the equity. Okay, we're not looking at your personal home here, because if you live in your personal home, if you remember Robert Kiyosaki says your home is not an asset. Okay, because your house costs money. You know, you have to spend money in order to live in your property. All right, there are costs involved in that. So if you've got 2 or 3, let's say you've got 2 buy-to-let properties, then in here you are going to work out what the equity is in those properties, and let's just say that you have £300,000 equity. Now if you have a business, again, look here at the value of that business, the net value. If you were to sell it and you paid off all your debts, you know, what's the asset value of that business? So let's just say you haven't got a business, so we're going to leave this free at the moment. All right, so you can see here your assets subtotal is 504,000. Doodads. Now when we say doodads, these are items where actually they take money out of your pocket, so they're not assets because they cost you money. Okay, so your primary residence, because you're living in it, it's not making money, it's not putting money into your pocket on a monthly basis. Okay, I know that if you were to sell it, then obviously you would have cash, but you haven't sold it, you're living in it, so it's not putting money, it's not generating money into your pocket every month. So your primary residence here is a doodad. Okay, so what would that residence be worth if you were to sell it? Okay, so let's just say it's £400,000. Do you have a car? Okay, if you were to sell that car, what would the value be? Let's say it's £5,000. And have you got any overseas homes, boats, luxury items like that? Let's just presuppose that you don't. Okay, so your doodad total is £405,000. Then this would be the figure, okay, that you would have in the bank. But your total assets today are 504,200. Okay, these are the assets that you have right now. Okay, so move over to liabilities here on the right hand side. So this is all of the outstanding debts that maybe you have. Okay, so I've put in here an example of maybe an outstanding balance on an Amex card. Okay, now in here it's good to put the interest rate, because you're going to be looking at this statement every month. So it's really good to actually have a snapshot of what your interests currently are. So let's just say you've got a 19% APR interest rate that you're paying on your Amex card, and you've got an outstanding balance of £3,500. Now, you may have another credit card here, so you would put a figure in. Let's say you've got 1,200 on another. And again, put in the name of that credit card so you can keep track on it, and put the interest rate here. And then you would just fill this out for all of your credit cards, your loans, if you have an overdraft that you're currently using. So that's obviously money that you owe. So put in that as well. Your mortgage, you know, what's the outstanding debt on your mortgage? So let's say you've got 230 on your mortgage. If you've got a second home, you know, mortgage there, any other lines of credit and any other debts, add them in here. So again, you can adjust this if you only have one credit card but you've got other debts, store cards, just amend this and put the interest rates in here. And then this will show you what your total liabilities are. Okay, so it's worked out here, your net worth, okay, which is the total assets minus your liabilities. Your net worth is £269,500. Okay, so that's with all your assets. When all your debt is paid off, this is how much you have left. And this is where we now can go up to the analysis, and it's automatically worked out all of the data that we've input here, and it will give you a really, really useful snapshot of how your financial situation is looking. So how much money do you keep on a monthly basis? So this is your cash flow divided by your total income. So it's saying that you keep hold of 22% of what's coming in. Okay, now it says here this should be increasing. So really every month you want to be trying to increase this figure, certainly not decreasing that. How much is your money working for you? Okay, so this is looking at how much is of your passive and portfolio income compared to your total income. So again, try and make this figure increase each month. How much are you paying taxes? 15%. How much goes to housing? Okay, 7%. How much do you spend on doodads? 44%. And it says here, keep this under 33. Okay, so you want to be seeing how to reduce your doodad costs here. Okay, and what's your return on assets? 2%. And this is worked out as your passive and portfolio income divided by your assets. Okay, your assets here. And how wealthy are you? Okay, so how many months could you survive? So it's worked out here, what's your monthly expenditure, total expenses per month? Now, based on your net worth, if you had no more money coming in, how many months could you survive? And it said here 143 months. Okay, so that's pretty good. That's pretty good. All right, so I hope that was useful. That definitely took longer than I anticipated, but I wanted to go through it in detail so that hopefully you now are able to go through and enter that yourself. And if you do have any further questions when you're going through this, then you can drop me an email at chris@etrr.online, and I'll be happy to go through and help you to complete this for yourself.
Okay, great. So I hope that you paused the video and you've taken some time now to actually go through and complete your personal financial statement. Now, this is an exercise that actually, if you do it in detail, can take maybe an hour or two. And the reason for that is that I really recommend that you go through your online banking and you look at all of the transactions that have come in and gone out over the last 3 months. Now, it's important to do it over 3 months because then you'll start to see trends. If there is a recurring payment that's coming out every month that you maybe thought you'd cancelled a long time ago, and you now can actually delete that, you can call someone up and say that you don't need that service any longer. And you'll be surprised if you haven't looked at your online statement in detail for a while, or maybe you never do, there may well be some surprises in there in terms of money that's been going out, which you had no idea. So really important exercise. Now, when you go through your personal financial statement and you go through all of your bank transactions as well, you should be able to start to categorize how much money you're spending at Sainsbury's or Tesco's every month. You can see these transactions and you can start to get a good idea of, okay, well, I generally spend about £100 a month on groceries, or whatever that number is for you. And you'll start to see how much you spend on travel. Maybe you'll see like train tickets, Oyster cards, petrol, whatever it is. But start to categorize this and start to get a clear idea, because you're going to need to start budgeting and start to put numbers into your personal financial statement, so that then you can start tracking, certainly monthly, but even better is to track it at the end of every week and really keep a close look on this. Because if you do this properly, then you are able to quite often save between £100 and £200 a month, which you can then start investing into other education, maybe some stock for your business, maybe some advertising for your business, or maybe some mentoring and some coaching, whatever it is that you feel is going to help push you forwards. Now, I'm also going to give you another couple of really useful websites which you can use in conjunction with your personal financial statement to really get a good grip on top of your personal financial situation. Now, the first one is called ClearScore. Okay, so this is a site that's in the UK, and really good for going to see what your credit score is and to see trends of your credit history as well. So this is really crucial for you to know whether you're going to be accepted for loans, whether you're going to be accepted for mortgages, and just generally to keep a good track of your financial situation. So ClearScore is the first one. It's completely free, and you don't have to send off your £2 to Experian like you used to have to do to get a paper credit report. All online. You can go 24/7 and access that. The second one will help people who maybe have got some debts and you're managing credit cards at the moment, and this one is called cardcosts.org.uk. Now on here you can go through the calculators that they have, and you can start seeing how much interest you're going to save if you start making extra payments, and if you pay, in a shorter period of time, how much that's going to reduce your debt on certain cards. And it's really going to help you to play around and see which cards probably are charging the most APR, the interest rates, and which ones you need to crush as quickly as possible, so you're not paying over what you need to. And again, used in conjunction with your personal financial statement, you can find often that this is going to help save you several £100s, if not more, just by going through this exercise. Okay, so that brings us to the end of the third video here in the 3-part video series, and I hope that you have really gained tremendous amount of value out of this. And we're only really scratching the surface, because there's so much more that I haven't had the opportunity to share with you in this short amount of time. And if you stay tuned in, then there's going to be one more video that I'm going to be sharing in the next couple of days, which will help you to make a decision whether you want to tap into the full power of the 5-step freedom formula. This is going to be an opportunity for you to work directly with myself and some of my personal mentors to ensure that you are starting 2018 on the absolute strongest front foot possible. I want you to be absolutely clear about the direction that's right for you in 2018. I don't want you to be wasting any more time, any more of your valuable money on courses and programs that simply are never going to get you the results that you're looking for. Hopefully in this 3-part video training series, you've seen the power of the foundation. And when I say foundation, I mean all 5 steps, because without those 5 steps in place, no matter what business you try and build, there's going to be cracks. And if you don't have a solid foundation, then you're going to run into problems later down the line, whether that's with the mindset, whether that's because your personal finances are not in good shape, whether it's because you're just not focused on the right tasks which are going to bring you quickest results, or you're just really not clear on the vision, why you're doing it, what the end goal is. All of these are absolutely critical. So I really hope that you're going to continue with me on this journey, and I really hope that you're going to take full advantage of this opportunity which I'm going to be sharing with you in the next couple of days. Thanks so much for watching the video series. Don't forget to comment below the video. Again, let me know how you got on with today's exercises, and of course if you know someone that you feel would benefit from this video training series, then please do share it with them as well. I'm going to see you again really soon. Have a great day.